Hi guys, so welcome to another episode of Becoming a Cloud Contact Center Engineer series. So today we are going to build a contact center solution, right? Based of all that we've learned. So now if we've gone through contact flow basics, we know the type of contact flow there are. We've gone through queues, we've gone through hours of operation, routing profiles, agent management, how we create agents, security profiles, and all that. In this video, we are just going to take a very simple contact center and then we will see how to build it, and then we will test it with the simple pieces that you've learned on this one. So I'll quickly show us what we are going to build. So this is what you're going to build. This is going to be a very simple contact center, as I said, but everything that we talk here is very relevant as part of your contact center experience journey, right? Everything going forward is going to be you adding on to this thing. So please, I would admonish that you watch the video to the end so that it helps you greatly. So now, with what we are going to build, what will happen is if the caller calls in into our contact center, right? We have a welcome message that we are going to play. Then we will proceed to check whether our contact center is closed or open, right? We will check the hours of operation. If the contact center is closed, we are going to play a message to the caller that you are currently out of hours. Please call us during hours of operation. You will have the room to customize the message however you want it. If it's no, then we proceed to give them the options. And then we will give them the options to select from our queues, right? Now we have two queues. We have the financial queue and then the education queue. Then we ensure that we route them to the appropriate agent. So that's what we are going to build. So this sums up most of the things we've discussed by far. It's very easy, but please do want to watch this video to the end. If you are new here, kindly give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and then let's go through this together. There is a lot of things coming up on this channel for you. So I'll quickly jump right into it. So yes, so I'm first going to get my flow so we see it right. Let me easily make this then this way and then get my flow diagram. Alright, okay. So first I'm going to first now. So now let's get right into it. So I'm going to start by building this. So this, as we said during our flow classes, this is going to be an inbound flow, right? We won't be able to call into this line. So I'll come to my routing tab and then search for flows and then open it. Now this is going to be an inbound flow, so I'll simply click on create flow. Then I'll call it, say this is going to be exercise 1. Let me call this flow exercise 1. Yeah, you can give it any name. You can name it your contact center, but for my tutorial purposes, I'm going to give it this way. So as I said, the first key thing we are going to look at is to set our login right. And then again, I said we set login to allow or to help us debug whatever is happening in our flow, right? As engineers, having logs, access to logs is very important. So if you are building your contact center solution, having access to log is something that you shouldn't joke with. So I'll first select my set login and then now to my flow. There is one thing I can choose to do. If I want to record the whole experience, there is a block, right, that we call set recording and analytics block. Having this block allows us to use the analytics feature of Connect, right? If I want to record the voice recording between the agent and the customer, or if I want to record just agent only or customer only, I can do that. If I want to record the entire interaction of the call, I can enable that. If I want to perform some content links and speech analytics stuff, right? All those things are readily available to us that we can do. For now, I'm just going to enable this view, and then we'll do in subsequent and more advanced videos. We are going to talk more about some of these features too. So I'll just set my login, set recording. Yes, these are just the stuff that I'm adding for us to see. Yeah, for this contact center, I like to set voice, right? And then I would like the voice to be Matthew. Remember, as I said, if you don't set voice in your contact center, what it will do is it will use the default voice, which is Juan. By my case, I'm going to just change it to Matthew. And then this is just the prelim stuff, right? These are somehow optional, but you always need your set login block. So now to our diagram. The first thing is we are playing a welcome message. Remember I said there are several blocks that you can use to play messages, right? Whether your get customer input, your play prompt, or your store customer input. But you have to see what you are doing. In here, we just want to play a message without taking any action. So a play prompt will do, right? So I'll look for a play prompt. And then I will have my message. I'm going to do a text to speech. So I'm going to say, thank you for calling our con. So this is going to be my welcome message. So you can have your message wherever you just do it, and then you can tag me, drop a comment or anything. Just find ways to reach out to me. Alright. So this is my message. And then the next thing is going to be our hours of operation, right? We are checking whether our contact center is open. In our last class, we talked about hours of operation, indicating that our hours of operation tells us whether the contact center is operational or not. So I'm going to check hours of operation. Yes. So now I'm going to select my hours of operation. I'm going to select what? The basic hours. As I said, I'm using the default one. And then we'll go in there to set our time. So basic hours, and then in our diagram, if it's in hours, that is if it's not closed, they want to play this message where they want the customer to be able to select between a finance and educational unit. So that, as I said, we want an action, right? We want them to enter an input. So we are going to use the get customer input block. Then I'll just try and then type the message to please press. Oh, damn, sorry. My second message to be connected to edu. Team, please press you. So yeah, then I'll just click on this. Then two. So now I have my two options, right? And then if it's out of hours, I want to play this message, no action required. So I can do a simple play prompt. Okay, if there is any error, let me just bring it in here. I'm not going to check anything. If I have any error, I will rather have this my contact center disconnect. So I'll say we are currently closed. Please reach out during hours of operations. So this is my message. Then I'll save. Now the next thing is if they press one, we want to draw them here and here. And then we are doing that using our queues that we created right in our last class. So what that I'll do is to find a set working queue. Remember, as I said, connects is something that gives you flexibility. There are a lot of ways, the more you work with Connect, there are a lot of ways you can build this thing without having to do some of this branching. You can make it very dynamic without coming through all this route. But for this case, I'm just going to maintain this web. So when they press one, I want them to go to a finance queue. So I'm going to select that. Please, if you don't have the queues, just look at our previous video and then see how best you can create queues. And then, oh, it's very simple. But I'll kindly do what to do that and then check out the old video. Okay, so now I have these two things. So if I want the people, right, someone who have selected this thing to be connected to an agent, you have to do something called transfer to queue. So I'll bring a transfer to queue block and then I'll connect my success and my blocks to it. Yes. Then finally, I will disconnect. Remember during the contact flow master video, I did explain that there are certain default flows that works behind the scenes to support. If you don't set those flows, Connect will use the default ones. In this set contact center, I'm not going to set any customer queue flow and all. So all those supporting flows are going to be the ones that comes by default. So this is a simple call flow, right? Come in, play a welcome message, check hours of operation, and then we are getting the customer input. If they press this one, we are routing them to the finance queue. If they press this to educational units team, then we are transferring them to queue. Transferring them to queue, rather put them in that waiting area for them to be connected to an agent. I'll simply click on save. Yes, now let me expand this. So save, and then let me do something simple. Remember I did mention that we can set loops, right? What happens in here if they fail to enter an input? So I'm just going to bring a loop and then say if it times out, if they don't enter anything, or if it defaults, or there is an error, I just want to loop 2 times. I want to loop 2 times, and then if it loops, I want to play this message again. But after the second loop, right, if they don't set anything, I want to route them to the educational queue, or if there is any issues with the looping too, I want to route them to the educational queue. So this is a very simple contact center, right? So now what I'm going to do next is to simply walk us through hours of operation, then we'll begin to test our contact center. So I'll simply come here, look for my hours of operation. So I said we are using the basic hours, so I can come in here to edit it. Alright, so looking at this, currently it's open, and then I'm working on this on a Saturday. So I'm going to first make the contact center close. So what I'm going to do is to remove the Saturday entirely. Yes, I'm going to remove the Saturday entirely. Then save it. Good. Now let me come to my contact flow. Again, a very simple contact flow. Yes, everything will all set. Then let me publish. Now what this means is our contact center is what? There is no Saturday. We don't work on Saturdays currently. So if I call, if everything is configured rightly, I should not be able to get connected to my menu options or be transferred to an agent. Alright. So now I'm just going to my phone number. Please, if you are new to this, and then just look at the previous videos in the series, learn how to claim a phone number. Okay, so if you are new, just claim a phone number, or you can look at the old videos of the series and then you will understand things better. So I'm just going to switch my contact flow to the new one we just built, a class exercise 1. Then I'll save it. So now I'm going to place a test call. So let me just copy the number. I'm going to place a test call here.
Thank you for calling our contact center. We are currently closed. Please reach out during our hours of operations.
So you heard the message. So the message that got played was this. So you called the contact center and then it read this message and then it used the voice that we set, right? So this is it on that end. So I'm going to quickly go to hours of operation and then now add Saturday. So let me just make it 12 a.m. through to 12 a.m. So this should be in operation. Yeah. Yeah. So let me do this. So let me do this and then save. All right. I'm going to initiate the call again. I'm going to initiate the call again.
Thank you for calling our contact center. To be connected to our finance team, please press 1. To be connected to our education unit team, please press 2. To be connected to our finance team, please press 1. To be connected to our education unit team, please press 2.
So guys, as you can hear, it's kind of looping and then giving me the option to
To be
select
connected to our
which one.
finance team, please press 1. To be connected to our education unit team, please press 2.
All right. So now, during the last class, we talked about routing profiles, right? And you said we have agents and users, and then depending on their routing profiles, that's where we manage the kind of calls they can answer or they can take. So we created the user, right, during our last previous section. That was the Kobina user 2. This user. So this user was part of the basic routing profile. And then in the basic routing profile, we added our 2Q. So what that means is this user can answer calls, right, coming in from this basic routing profile, provided the queue is part of the routing profile. So now we have educational units, right? So we have the education queue being part of this routing profile. Let me just make the priority 1 and then save it. So this is the routing profile that is assigned to this user. And then I'm logged in as that user here, Kobina, right? So I'm going to open the agent workspace for this user. Now, so this is my agent workspace, right? So if everything is fine, if I place a test call, remember the Kobina user who has a routing profiles in which we have one of our queues, that's the educational queue. So what that means is anytime I place a call, right, and then I select that educational unit, Kobina is in a position to answer that call. So I'm just going to place a test call to the number and then I'll select the option 2 for my educational unit. So I'm going to do that.
Thank you for calling our contact center. To be connected to our finance team, please press 1. To be connected to our education unit team, please press 2. Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received. Education.
Alright, so
So
this is the call
this
coming
is
in
the call
through
coming
Kobina.
in.
So I'm going to just simply end the call. So you can see the call came in because I selected 2. Now, if I call the same contact center again and select 1, you realize that Kobina won't receive the call because the finance queue is not part of a routing profile where the agent Kobina is in there. So the assignment for this section is that just create multiple routing profiles yourself and then ensure you have agents that has both routing profiles and then see that you can route your calls to those said agents, right? So that is the little that you've done by far, creating queues, routing profiles, and then bringing them into actions, guys, right? So this is something that you can just keep on working on, add a lot of blocks, do a lot of modifications, and then if you have any questions, do all to drop it in the comment section. As I said on Tech with Kwabena or on Tech with Kwabena, we are learning cloud by actually building projects, not just talking and then yeah. So just add your own creativity to it. You can introduce further menu options and all, and then we will see. If you have any challenges, just feel free to drop a comment and then I'll do all to assist you. In the next video, we are going to probably talk more about some further and some slight advanced stuff. See how best you can bring in legs, and then we can integrate lambda functions and a whole range of stuff into our contact center. Thank you so much for watching, and then let's meet in the next video. I'll be looking forward to see your assignment. Thank you so much. Bye.